My name is Chris Machado, and in 2002 I had a Kundalini awakening, a spontaneous awakening, a very powerful awakening. And for the first 2 years, it was absolute hell, because my identity, my ego, did everything in the book, everything in this book of tricks to stop this energy from flowing up and rising to my crown chakra and purifying me so that I have God consciousness. I heard voices, we're not letting go for the first year, 24 hours a day, for a whole year. Drove me nuts. After that, I heard the word stop for a whole year, 24 hours a day. Drove me nuts. It was a very challenging moment. So, after 2 years, the voices settled down. And throughout the next 8 years, I started to open up. I started to relax. I developed what is called mindfulness, which is what the Buddha taught. See, if you are suffering, you're going to keep suffering throughout your whole life unless you develop mindfulness. Mindfulness is filling your mind with what is going on right now in this present moment. It's not projecting your energy in the future or in the past. It's being in the here and now. It's being aware of your footsteps, your movement, your bodily movements. Being aware of the sounds around you, the colors around you. It's being aware at all times of what is going on in your body. Are your feet cold? Are there sensations in there? Is the wind? Can you feel the breeze of the wind on your hands right now? Can you feel your watch touching your wrist? Are you aware of the colors? When a car drives by you, was it a two-door or a four-door? If the music was on, what was the song being played? Right? This is mindfulness, filling your mind with the present moment. Because enlightenment is a state of continual peace. It's living at peace. We don't know how valuable peace is until we lose it and we don't have it. You can accumulate all the riches you want in life, get all the fame and success. If you don't have peace of mind, you'll never be happy. Those things do not bring happiness. Peace is the garden that God likes to hang out in all the time. Throughout my Kundalini awakening, after the voices settled down, after I started to be present and started to concentrate my energies, my angels and my guides and my higher self started to speak to me. The first thing they said is, all is well. I started to hear it and I would say, where's that coming from? So I'm not saying that. And I heard, this too shall pass. Things will get better. And the voices started to come. The angels started to come through, and I started to understand that I was never alone. That it was an illusion that I was always alone. That we're not meant to do it alone. There's strength in numbers. Therefore, you should be aware that you have a number of beings around you at all time who can clear you up, make you feel good all the time, and make you realize that enlightenment is your true space. It's what you are. Enlightenment is realizing that everything is made out of light, therefore there is no darkness. It's breaking the barriers of good and bad. It's realizing that bad is an illusion. The reason that we feel bad when we think a bad thought or hear a bad story or see a bad vision is because the God within us, who communicates to us with feelings, is saying, this is an illusion, this isn't real, this won't bring you happiness. A bad feeling is God telling you, I would let go of this thought right now because it's not going to benefit you. And you're getting a bad feeling because it's not true. It exists in your mind. When you think of hell, you don't feel good because God's saying it doesn't exist. Hell is an illusion. It's a hell state. That being said, I felt like I went through hell when I went through this whole experience. After the 8 years, as I developed concentration and ability to stay present, the last year was the most challenging out of them all. Because every fear that I had came up to challenge me, because the closer you get to the top of the mountain of enlightenment, that's when whatever's lurking in there will come forward to challenge you. It means you're making progress, you're almost there. Just because the water's all calm doesn't mean there's no crocodiles. That's what I figured out. And I figured out that in order to climb the mountain of enlightenment, it has to be rough. It can't be smooth. You can't climb up a smooth mountain. You need something rough to grab onto to get to the top. Now, when you're enlightened, it's intimacy with all things. Enlightenment is an awareness that you cannot die, that you are part of the whole universe. You are part of one mind, cosmic consciousness. Enlightenment is seeing yourself in all things. Therefore, the judging ego, which is who you think you are, which is the phantom. If there is a devil, it's the ego. But the ego is not real, it's an illusion, so there is no devil. The ego is your identity, and that's what it lives in fear, because it's just a thought that you hold of yourself. When you look in the mirror, you go, that's who I am. Therefore, I cannot be God. You are not who you think you are who you think you are not. You think you are the person that you dress up every morning, the person they call you. They call you Joe or Paul or Stephen. These names create an identity, and the ego is attached, the soul getting attached to the body, identifying with the body. And when you get to enlightenment, you realize your body is an illusion. It's made out of light. It's a river flowing through it 24 hours a day. It's changing every second, moment by moment by moment. Every time you breathe in, you're a whole new person. Every part of you changes. So, but your ego, which is a controlling being, a judgmental creature, it lives in fear. And enlightenment is something that is found here in the now, in the present moment. You don't find enlightenment in the future or in the past. It's here right now. And the ego does not want the present moment. Because when you live in the present moment, you're focused on what is happening around you. See, your mind tells you you're a loser. You're not successful. You betrayed this person. You stole from this person. Your energies are focused on the tree. The tree doesn't call you a loser. The tree is made of beauty, grace, and love. And when you focus on it rather than just thinking about it, you pick up that energy. You feel what it's like to be enlightened. You feel that state of peace. Now, so the more you focus on your surroundings, be interested in your surroundings, the more you start to let go of your identity, your identification with thoughts. Thoughts pull you out of the present moment. So you need to pull yourself back into the present moment out of those thoughts. Now, the journey I went through was not easy, but it doesn't have to be that way. I talked to angels. I talked to a master named Orias who was around 1,000 years before Christ. And every time he speaks to me, he takes me on a journey. He says, you can tell who the kings in life are because they're the ones wearing the crowns of happiness. He said, the truth turns you into the truth. And listen to silence, because silence speaks the truth. Are you aware that there's an empty space all around you at all times? Now, what you may not be aware of is that it's an invisible rainbow of energy. It's a light, and it's peaceful. And if you put your awareness on that, it'll awaken peace within you and silence. You'll feel grounded to the earth. You'll start to understand the feeling of enlightenment. Now, enlightenment is positive energy. That's what it is, right? And positive energy is all there is. A lot of people are big on positive thinking. But what I figured out is that you don't have to think positive when you realize that positive energy is all there is, and therefore that's all you are. All you have to do is live and let yourself be. You don't have to force yourself to feel good. Positive thoughts can help you, don't get me wrong. But positive thoughts, imagine a river flowing through you. Peace, open up a faucet, just a little bit. A little bit of water comes out, that's peace. Turn the faucet on high, full blast, that's passion. Turn it up medium way, that's love. So the river that flows through you, as you start to think, it comes faster and faster and faster. And that's okay as long as you're thinking good thoughts. But when you let go, your mind changes the channel and puts you to the worry station or the fear station, right? So you start that energy starts to create those things in your future reality. So the best thing to do is still your mind. The less you think, the happier you are. When you're happy, you don't think that much. And peace is a state of not thinking too much. When you're at peace, you don't think that much, right? Your ego disturbs your whole mind. You train yourself to think, and you can train yourself to stop thinking. But to do that, you have to be in the present moment. Now, attachment is what stops us from being enlightened. Every time we think a thought, most people get attached to it. They judge it, they condemn it, they hate it. Whatever you hate, you will date. It will be part of your life. And everybody's out on bad dates right now. You cannot hate something and break free from it. How are you supposed to grow if you do not let go, right? You have to let go. And one of the best ways to let go is to step back and change the way you respond to your thoughts. We are conditioned to respond to life, to accidents, to stories, to thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You need to understand that right now. They're just thoughts. And if a bad thought comes up, smile at it. And what you'll find is that eventually that bad thought will smile back at you. Fear comes up, smile at it, because it's not who you are. You've heard the acronym probably. Fear means false evidence appearing real. To some people it means forget everything and run. Fear is an illusion. It comes from the ego. And you need to break the identity from the ego if you want to be enlightened. Now, people think it's hard to be enlightened. Ask yourself right now, is it easy to be enlightened? Because whatever you say, if you say it's hard, that's a belief you believe. It's not hard. You can become enlightened in 16 months. I didn't have a guru to help me throughout my process, but I did have a spiritual channeler named the Willows. David Watson in Toronto channels a spirit entity named the Willows, and they helped me along the way. And so they helped me. They were very, very helpful throughout my journey. And I read books. I was guided to audio tapes, and I wanted to be enlightened. Now, the minute you try to hold an image of what enlightenment is the minute you lose it. Because it's not a thought and it's not an image. It's a feeling. Now, positive energy, see, God is breath. Breath is color. Color is light. And light is love. And love is positive energy. All there is in this whole world is positive energy. But you're saying, well, that can't be true because there's hate, there's anger, there's destruction. These are all illusions. These are all dreams. Enlightenment is waking yourself up out of the dream state that you're living in. Now, the attachment to your thoughts keep you from being free. We feel free when we think a positive thought or when we have peace or love or joy. The reason we don't like bad thoughts is because they make us feel bad, because they take us away from our freedom. So what you need to start doing is develop mindfulness, and liberation is concentration. You need to be able to concentrate your energies. You need to start picking an object, focusing on it, and if a thought comes up, you go back to the object. If a thought comes up again, you keep going back to the object. You must develop concentration if you want to be free. Because if a bad thought comes up, well, you're thinking a good thought. That's fine. But if you don't have the concentration skills to hold that thought, your mind will step in and put in a bad thought and change direction for you. And you don't want that. You want to be able to concentrate on, hold your attention on positive images, positive thoughts, but more importantly, the present moment. The present moment has a secret to tell you that the past and the future do not know. Everybody's running in life, but what's the point of running if you're headed in the wrong direction? The Buddha once said, if you're headed in the right direction, all you have to do is keep on walking. And wherever you are right now is where you need to be to get to where you want to go. Now, your ego, when you decide you want to be enlightened or you get an inspiration to do it, your ego steps in right away. It starts worrying and fearing. It says, all this talk about bliss and peace, I can only exist in a state of fear. I can only exist if I keep thinking. You think 60,000 thoughts a day because your ego keeps putting thoughts in your mind. It only exists by thinking. So the less you think, the less you're attached to it, the less fear there is. The ego's fear. Rumi the poet once said, fear and ignorance is a mind's prison. Knowledge and wisdom is the mind's palace. Why stay in prison when the door is wide open? He also said, we knock on doors for crusts when there's a basket of fresh bread on our head. We walk around with thirst yet there's a river flowing through us. We are the rider on the horse saying, where is the horse? He said, we are the pearl and the oyster at the bottom of the sea saying, where is the sea? He said, you should let your candle burn brightly, otherwise you are a lion being held back by a rabbit. Now, enlightenment comes as a result of desire. My angels told me once that love is God's heart, Wisdom is his mind, and peace is his body. And